speech. In 9 speeches, I have told you guys almost everything about me. I talked about my love for running. I talked about the story of my day. I talked about why I should never date a Toastmaster. I talked about the book I was reading, Emotional Intelligence. And I got closer and closer to speech 10, and I was like, now is not the time to have writer's block. But I was starting to get frustrated. I literally wrote 5 speeches, and every time I wrote it, I thought I was onto something, and I was like, ugh, it's not gonna work. And I started to get really frustrated. I'm kind of like banging my head on the wall until I had an idea. There is still an important thing that I need to talk to you guys about tonight, and I'm gonna use speech 10 to get that message out. On July 1st, well, let me just start with the punchline. Let me get to the point. On July 1st, the club will officially be under new leadership. And something that you may not have thought about is the new leadership are the folks sitting in this room. So in speech 10, my goal is to inspire you guys to consider taking on a leadership role. Shall we get started? Yeah. Let me start off with my first point. I said leadership roles. What does that even mean? Well, let's go in order. First, we need a sergeant at arms who can take care of all the club assets and provide an excellent member and guest experience at every meeting. He or she will come to the room, set up the room, and that takes pressure off the Toastmaster from having to worry about setting it up. He or she can focus on getting mentally prepared for the meeting. A little bit of teamwork. We also need a treasurer, someone who can be our CFO, manage our club finances, and help us make our financial decisions, from putting together a budget proposal for Dan Benora, telling us where we should spend our funds. You are essentially our CFO. We also need a secretary, someone who can manage all of the club documentation, from the club bylaws to the club success plan to the attendance sheet. Now, I know you guys think that, or maybe you guys think that the attendance sheet is really just a novelty item. It's not. It's data. That data tells us how many people are coming to the meetings, are they guests, are they members, and that data is actually very helpful for our VP of Public Relations, who's our CMO, our Chief Marketing Officer. This person makes all of our marketing decisions and helps us put together new flyers, put together newsletters, become our community manager and collaborate, basically raise awareness for our club to drive traffic into our clubs so that more people become members. Then we have our VP of membership, who works with these guests to convert them into members, talking them through their questions, talking them through how to become members, what does it mean to become a member, getting their applications filled out, and then getting them all the resources they need so they can be successful members. Then we have our VP of education, who really helps our members accomplish their goals, whatever their goals are. Maybe it's they want to become better public speakers, they want to become better leaders, they want to become better evaluators, better meeting hosts, whatever it may be. The Vice President of Education works with them to get them into the schedule at a cadence that matches their preference so that they can accomplish their goals. Then we need a president. We need someone who can set the vision and the direction for the club and really take us to the next level. I really hope I did not miss anyone. Did I miss a role? Mike, did I miss a role? Okay, I'm assuming I didn't miss any roles. So those are the roles. Now, does that sound like a lot of work? It's okay to be honest. Does that sound like a lot of work?
Yeah.
Yes. Because it is a lot of work. But when I was in college, I was an economics major, and I learned in economics that people need incentives. Incentives are important. So let me get to my second point, which is, what's in it for you? What are the benefits? Well, to answer this question, I kind of have to ask some questions. So the first question is, has anyone here ever wanted to be a teacher or a coach? Now is your opportunity, because you get to make a positive impact on your fellow colleagues by helping them get to the next level, whatever their next level is. Let me ask you another question. Has anyone here ever wanted to either run their own business or run their own business unit? Now is your opportunity, because you get to work with a team of highly skilled people in well-defined roles, and you have the autonomy to make the decisions you need to make to push the club to the next level. You have a platform to execute your ideas, so if you ever found yourself wishing, God, I wish someone listened to my ideas, now's your chance. Make it happen. let me ask you another question. Has anyone here ever wanted to be regarded as a great leader? Probably everyone, right? Now's your chance, because, they say in the slogan, Toastmasters where leaders are made. It's not yes, it's a great slogan that some marketing team came up with, but it's true. It's true. When I got started in this role, my boss told me, you have an interesting challenge because you have to go and recruit people who don't work for you, and you have to convince them or persuade them or get them to give Collaborate a chance and social media a chance. That's not an easy thing to do. So the first thought that came to my mind is I need to build up some leadership skills so I can recruit some people to help me out in my job, so that I can essentially help the rest of the bank. So this is your opportunity to really craft those leadership skills. Now I'm fully aware that I haven't completely sold you yet. Tony, could you move over for a second? I don't expect that you guys are going to be running up, jumping up, and like, oh, can I be president? Can I be president? It's not going to happen. If I've done my job, I have you on the fence right now. You're thinking about it. But there's one piece that I haven't touched on yet, which is fear. Now, it's really hard for me to come up here and talk about fears when Tony Woodall blew it out of the park with his recent award-winning speech. But I'm going to try it. The first fear that may be clouding your mind is you're afraid you don't have enough time. But this is actually the easiest one to talk through, because no one has enough time. It's not a fear, that's not a fear, it's a misunderstanding. There are not people that are, sitting at home saying, God, I have too much time. I got 3 extra hours, I wish I could do something with it. That never happens. No one has enough time. Ramesh Patel doesn't have enough time. But that doesn't stop him from making the commute from Sacramento to come to Toastmasters. That doesn't stop Alyssa, who comes from Dublin, from coming to Toastmaster and being an officer. That doesn't stop Tony Woodall from being VP of PR, while he also has to write an ebook, while putting together his podcast series, while managing his 3,000 followers on Twitter, and being the on-base manager. Right? That didn't stop him, so it's not a question about time. So we can just shoot that fear down. The other fear is that you won't do a good job. And this one I actually sympathize with, this valid fear. There's a quote from Michael Jordan. He said, you have to expect great things out of yourself before you can go and do them. And when I hear that quote, or when I read that quote, I think about people like Alyssa. Most of you probably don't know that Alyssa signed up to be secretary during her 3rd meeting. She didn't even know what a CC was, or what a CL was, or what even the secretary role was. She knew that there was a need, and she knew that she could probably do it. That's expecting greatness out of yourself. Another fear, one more, is you're afraid that you can't lead. Another one that I felt. When I was thinking about taking on an officer role, big shoes to fill. How am I going to make this happen? I don't really know if I can lead these people. My advice to you is, if you're afraid that you can't lead, start with leading by example. Be the hardest worker in the room, and people will not only follow you, they will follow suit. So that's my advice for you, if that's another fear that may be clouding your mind. So now we know the roles, now we know the benefits, and now we know how to dispel those fears that may be holding us back from taking the next step. I'm going to do a little quick pivot, because there's another piece I want to touch on. I know I said that my goal was to inspire all of you, but the truth is, it was all of you who inspired me. I'm about to reveal my secret. I was secretly taking things here and there from people that I saw. Ooh, I like that, I'm going to borrow that, I'm going to use that. And I was using it to build a repertoire of skill sets. And I always knew I didn't have to be original. Inspiration comes from whatever it is that you're observing. And it was all of you where that came from. When I got started in Toastmasters, and Sharon remembers this, Jakar remembers this, so I asked Sharon to come back. I was a shy kid who wore a refulgent headband. Remember that? That was the word of the day. And I held on to my notes for dear life. You could hear the shakiness in my voice. And over time, I started to kind of put the notes away, don't need that anymore, we're just going to go off the cuff. In 22 months and 9 speeches, I have surprised myself that I've been able to speak at FRBU, I've been able to speak at conferences, I've been able to speak at, not speak, but lead over, 100 social media trainings. I cannot believe the numbers are in that zone now. It's unbelievable to me. And the joy that I get out of doing this is watching you guys all go through that experience. We just had a contest round, and we watched Lu Ching and Tony sweep the area contest, and you could just see in their eyes, they're going through the same thing. I never thought I could participate in a speech contest, never thought I could win it. It's happening again, and that's the joy that you get out of being in this role. That's the reward that you get for being an officer. If I had to use an analogy, because I love analogies, I would say that being in Toastmasters, being an officer in Toastmasters has kind of been like when you're hungry and you go to the grocery store, which they say never to do. You walk in there wanting maybe a sandwich or something, you come out with a grocery cart full of things that you didn't know you could get. That's been my experience in Toastmasters, and it essentially cost me nothing. Kevin, what's our membership fee? $60 per year?
It's cheap. For you guys, it's free. Pays for it.
Yeah, it didn't even come out of my own wallet. It cost me nothing. And I feel like I got so much out of this experience. I feel like I got an MBA experience for free, which is awesome. And you know what, yesterday, sorry, going on a tangent now. Yesterday I was talking to JJ, he was telling me a story of the founder of his club who actually quit business school. I would not recommend this. Actually quit business school because they were getting more out of their Toastmasters club. So, food for thought. If I've tickled your interest, I want you to get in touch with me so we can talk this through. And on May 22nd, we're going to have officer elections. And whoever comes out of those elections is going to be on your leadership team on July 1st. You don't get paid for this job. I shouldn't have waited to the end to say that. But you don't get paid for this job. But I found a quote that I think accurately captures what you get out of this. The quote is, "Money motivates neither the best people nor the best in people. Purpose does." And I can't promise that being secretary or treasurer is going to fulfill that purpose, but I'm confident that it can help you find your purpose. So have a great day.